Here's a question. What would you personally find more alarming? If you're staying in a state park or a national park and you're deep in the woods and you have an strange experience that you can't explain of a paranormal nature. Could be a cryptid, it could be you see a lady in white, or it could be a myriad of different weird things that can occur in the woods. Or would it be more alarming to have something of that nature occur, let's say, on a walking trail several miles from your house? I would argue that something that's closer to your proximity of where you reside might be just a little bit more alarming. And I say that because, I've spent so much time in the woods that I'm not really alarmed by, you know, a sound here or a breaking branch there. I will pay close attention, and I have um, I've ran out of the woods before, out of fear. Um, I've been pretty much convinced that I was being stalked or hunted by something. That was alarming. But for some reason, there is this spot. It's real close to where I reside. And for now, three different occasions, we've had some of the craziest experiences there. And that is what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to go into a little bit of depth about an area called Coon Creek Trail. So stay tuned. Magnet Paranormal Talk's coming up right now. Okay, hey there. Jaden behind me right here, and I are out here at Coon Creek Trail because we wanted to try to document where exactly we saw this dude kind of come out of nowhere and where the mimic sound is at. So just going to take a quick video. It's an 18-degree day here in the lovely Kansas. We're freezing our tails off out here. There's cold, and then there's fucking cold, and it's fucking cold out here. So yeah, fun. So hang tight. Okay, we are out here at Coon Creek Trail, and I'm looking about the area where we saw through the brush here, because you can see flashlights coming from a long ways, because it would illuminate. But we kind of saw this guy kind of come out of nowhere, and we were just around this bend, so we would have seen his headlight before it got around to this. And so as you can see, this is it's a trail, but it's a paved trail, but it is crazy. So this is about the same area where the mimic sound came from, and then ended up over here on my left over here in this brush with about a second in between them. It was a very strange sound. We heard all kinds of crazy sounds coming out of just a little ways up that way. And then, so the guy passed us a little bit, maybe. We saw him coming, we stopped. We got up the road here, but then we realized that we weren't going to be able to kind of completely get away. And keep in mind, I've done EMF out here 3 times now. And even though I got some elevated readings in a couple places, it was pinging, saying max, giving a warning about the EMF in this location right here when this dude was coming past. Really crazy. And so it was I decided to run after he passed us because I saw the tail light disappear. We got up here to find out where he went. And there was not And that red light from the back side of his bike was nowhere to be found. So the questions, which we're going to talk about on our next episode about, which you're probably watching right now, is one, where the hell did this guy go? I have a few theories we'll talk about, but I want you to see. For whatever reason, I'm always really super nervous about coming to this spot right here because my intuition always makes me want to verify that there's nobody hanging out here. So we basically hauled ass up here to make this turn in this corner. Now granted, keep in mind, this guy was on this bike. This was an old man in the middle of the night out here on a bicycle. For whatever reason, we couldn't find him. But as you can see right here, imagine at night, you're gonna see lights a long ways. No red tail light, and he could not got past that road before I got up here. Even more so, this little thing turns around and keeps going that direction. He would not have made it around that bend before I had eyes on this area. We went down this way to verify that he did not go down that way. Because you can see for a good long ways once you get around that bend right there. As a matter of fact, camera's not gonna show it, but I can see that pathway way up there. So anyway, we'll talk more about this on the episode. It is colder than snot out here. Brr.
All right, welcome back to Magnet Paranormal Talk, and tonight we are going to talk about Coon Creek Trail, and I am your host, William Saunders, and these are my two boys, Jaden up over there, and Will down over there. And this is probably the only shared experience we've had. Jaden's actually experienced some of the Warwick Theater, and he can talk about that on another time. But we were all together for one of these experiences. That's what we're primarily going to talk about tonight. But I got to give you a little bit of background first. So, how did I discover this place? Well, as I was going to tell you guys before we jumped on the air, you have to pay attention to kind of your intuition. The more you listen to it, the more you become aware of it, the more you can kind of hone it. And it's weird because I was going to take the dogs to Shawnee Mission Park, and I think Will, when I was taking you home one time, I had noticed that little park over there, and I was just like, that's really curious, but it just kind of was drawing me. I couldn't help but look at it, so I kept looking at this park and kept noticing the trail and stuff like that, and kept looking at it. It was like it was drawing me to go there. And so I was going to take the dogs to Shawnee Mission Park, and I just said, I'm going to go down and see what that park's about. And so I took the dogs down there, and I got to right about where the pond is at, and I just got this really crazy, I'm being watched kind of, like that, son, you call it that, your spidey sense, but, I got this overwhelming feeling it's like, something's a little weird. And that's why I wanted to go back. And do you remember me, Will, do you remember me telling you about that? About how, I said, you got to check out this thing. I think it's a little weird. And so I was under no, illusion of actually experiencing anything like bizarre out there. But one night, I was taking Will home, and we popped in there at night, and we had flashlights, and we were kind of ready to do this. And well, son, I'm gonna let you kind of just recollect on what you remember about that night.
I remember the activity being to the point where I was a little freaked out, but it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst I've experienced, but it was crazy at the same time. Like the amount of EMS spikes we were getting.
Yeah. Well, the thing that stood out to me was, and I had never experienced anything like that, which is, there was something trying to mimic an owl, and it was on our right, and then it was in the weeds to our left, and that's pretty much when we got the hell on out of there. I heard, and I'm gonna tell this story more in depth, but I heard a sound that was so weird that I had no idea what the hell it is, because it's like something pretending to be an owl. That's what it sounded like. It was like a really weird, like where part of it sounded like an owl, so it went like, it was like this weirdly weird laugh, and it was on one side of us, and then a second later it was on the other side of us. And is there something you want to tell us?
Can't say it out loud, but you know what I'm thinking. Something moving that fast.
Well, it's like it's trying to imitate an owl.
But it moving that fast?
What could have flew if it's an owl?
No.
Once you have
behind it.
Once you turn around, walk backwards. I got our 12. I got our 12 if you got our 6.
Yeah, in front of you.
Well, now I want to be directly in front of you.
You would think there'd be an...
I don't even know where that is. What was that?
Sounded evil.
Or if they do.
What'd they do?
Yeah, that was a little bit too much right then and there. And so I wanted to elaborate a little bit on why we went back. I have not been able to find anything out about this area. No lore, no history, nothing. There's just no mentions of it whatsoever. So I don't know what was here before, but all of this land is native, but yeah, there's something that is really kind of crazy, there. And I think what I've tried to get across to people who have, tuned into the channel is that there's an intelligence that's behind the phenomenon, no matter what it is: cryptids, hauntings, UFOs. It just seems like there's something that's an underlying thing, and it's intelligent, and it to me it presents itself in these just really bizarre, crazy ass ways that it's like it knows that and so it's intentionally fucking with you, kind of a thing. Because like for the dude that was on by the church, when Will saw him, he was like, why that manifestation? It's not a normal thing. Why would somebody have a suit, a tuxedo on, walking down in Olathe in the middle of the night? It's just like shit that's so weird and so bizarre that it just makes absolutely just no sense. And that's what the three of us experienced there. And so before we talk about our own little takes on this, I want you guys to see what I came back that night after I got back home. I recorded this. Here, check this out. Record this real quick. Wow, it's still fresh in my head. So I was hanging out with both of my boys today, this afternoon, this evening, and we're leaving for the day, and I'd showed my son Jaden a spot that Billy and I had gone to, which just had a really bizarre mimic of an owl or something that was really unnerving. And went back there a couple times since then, mostly during the day. And there's just a section of this trail that repeatedly is just off. It's weird. I mean, the sensation, the feeling I get there, and of course couple of different weird things happen, and it's really not that far in from the road where this is transpires. I mean, the trail goes a very long ways, but it's not that far off the road. And so tonight, before dropping my other son off, we decided to go back there and go at night, flashlights. And Billy and I both have an EMF tool on the phone to kind of pay attention to as we were hiking down this. And the strangest thing happened. We kept hearing like this clanking sound that was in an area that there shouldn't be anything in the woods there that would be making the sound, and just some strange noises and stuff like that, but nothing that would be construed as what the fuck is that, nothing like that. But if you're familiar with this trail, it's a Coon Creek Trail, and you can, even though there's some slight bends and stuff like that, it's still, this time of year, you can see light for a good long ways. And I just want to pause it right here because that's the thing I keep harping on, like when I've told people about this story, is that the fact that with the foliage being gone, the leaves being gone from the trees and stuff, it just seems like if somebody had the front light of the head of the thing, we would have thought something was coming through the woods. We would have seen it, because you kept turning around and looking. You had our six, man. You kept turning around and looking back there, and you never saw anything coming, right?
Nothing. Long time.
It just blows my mind. The more I think about it, the more I get weirded out. Just the more I think about how weird that, just absolutely bizarre this is. Okay, here's the rest of this. We were walking back towards the car, and kind of really out of nowhere, this light kind of seems like it comes out of the woods and turns towards us. And I was, from a distance, I was still able to say, okay, this is a bicycle. And it's this old dude on this bicycle, full helmet, everything, just nothing abnormal. And he just goes past us, and both boys mentioned that they just didn't see a face and stuff, and I didn't really see his face either, because I didn't really see him from looking at him. It's a new moon, it's pretty dark, other than our flashlights, and I wasn't shining a flashlight at him either. So he goes past us, and we are close enough to there's a section where it forks, and you can go left, or you can go straight and go left, and or you can turn towards the parking lot. And we were close enough that you could see the tail light of the bike, and then I didn't see the tail light of the bike, and so we picked up our pace a little bit. And then when I got up to that intersection right there, I turned back and was looking down the left, and you can see a long ways until this thing eventually kind of winds up on the road, and then you can still see it for quite a ways, and there's no lights. And so I kind of hoof it up to the next one, and look down that way, and that is more of a straight shot. And so had he been down that way, would also see the lights from the red lights that as he was pedaling, how bikes are. And obviously he did not turn into the parking lot, because same story, you would still be able to see him, and it just goes up on the road there. And it just didn't make any sense. And at the time, I mean, we were just like, you know, like it was just like, oh, some dude, old dude on a bike. Well, what the hell's he doing out here at this time of night? Well, you know, what time? You know, where's he going? And then when I got up there, I don't know what inside me said, you know, find out where he went. You know, but I kind of just was then like had to then know, you know, which direction did he go. And that's when I, you know, quickly got up to the first place he could have turned. He wasn't there. You know, so it was like, you know, could it be a dude that just was hiding, turn all the lights off on the bike and just, you know, was, you know, maybe thought we were a threat and was hiding. I don't know. Maybe that sounds better than what the alternative is. But that area is just so weird. I mean, it's just so strange, and it's like, and I was explaining to them both that, you know, this phenomenon is so, it fucks with your head so much by these crazy things that just don't make any sense, you know. So I don't even know what I'm saying. All I'm saying is we would have seen this guy coming. I mean, the EMF meter was pegging, and, you know, there's like this warning, you know, if it gets to a certain level, it's like warning. And it was doing that, it did at least 5 times, and I'd never seen it do that before. And it was, you know, just before this guy on this bike showed up. It's really bizarre. Really, really bizarre. And then I have no idea where he went. It's just like, poof, just gone. But you know, I know I saw, and both of them saw it too. So maybe we'll get on here tomorrow and talk about it. I'm still trying to process it. It's just the only reason I'm even mentioning it is because the logic, if you see the place on a map, and I'll show that on here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But the point of where we were in relationship to the point of where he could have turned at either point, you can see how by the time we're at that point, there's no way he could, even on a bicycle, but at the pace he was riding, which was really slow, there's no way he could have been out of sight on either one of those choices. And what's even crazier is the whole time, because we kept turning around and like looking behind us and stuff, you know, because we're out here trying to talk to whatever's out here. And we kept turning around, and you would see that the front light of that bicycle from almost the entirety of that trail, because of how straight it is at that particular stretch there. There's not these big bends that where you wouldn't possibly see it. And even then, this time of year, you know, there's no foliage on the trees or anything, so you would still see it even at that great a distance. So I'm just at a loss. I'm at a loss if this guy came out of nowhere and just poof was gone. Just telling you, just, you know, some of the strangest. Oh my gosh, it makes my head want to pop off my shoulders sometimes. There has to be a logical explanation. That's all I gotta say. There has to be. But for the life of me, I just can't come up with it right at the moment. Crazy shit. Jaden, I'm gonna start with you. What's your recollection of that night, man?
Okay, so I remember it was obviously like pretty cold. I remember like we were like starting to walk, and I don't know, like the very like start of the walk was like very normal walk. It wasn't too bad, but like aside from the fact that like it was like pretty cool, but I want to say like midway through Like the walk is when I started like getting like weird like eerie sensation, and that's when we started hearing stuff, and that's when like I don't know, the whole like feeling of like the walk started getting weird. I recall we got to a certain point and we kind of just like just kind of like sat there for a little second, and we didn't like go on any further, like any farther, because we did go pretty far in, but we're like, no, that's like way too far. And so like we started walking back, and I think I was the first person to actually like see the light of the bike, and I pointed it out to y'all. And I mean, I don't like remember like seeing the dude's face at all or anything, but I mean, I remember like what he said was weird. I forgot what exactly he said to us, but it was like y'all having like, or how was your day or something like that. I don't know. Like, are you having fun? I think is what it was.
I do think that's what he said, which was a weirdly weird ass thing.
Yeah. Why would you say that to someone? Like, that's so weird. Yeah, but just weird.
Was there snow
Talking
or
about this is.
was there any
this
snow?
makes me uncomfortable.
Was there any snow or ice on the path?
There's a lot. Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's
Oh
hella.
yeah.
I just realized that. And how in the hell was he riding a bicycle on the snow and ice?
I mean,
Old
I
man.
felt like
Old man on a
It was-
bicycle
And it
riding
was
at
like,
night.
and it was smooth. It was like he was riding smooth over all that.
Are you
yeah.
having fun? I'm bugged.
Dude, talking about this makes me uncomfortable. I'm telling you. Like, I keep
What-
looking behind me, like, to check out to see if this dude is behind me. This bicycle old grandpa scares me.
What do you remember that we've left out or anything?
I remember it saying, like, on the episode we had to hear stuff and to see the EMS. I remember it saying some on point stuff that we were actually seeing and going through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that.
When I kept seeing eyes, because I kept seeing eyes in the forest.
hmm
When I kept seeing eyes, something happens every time. When I kept seeing shit, the EMF would go off. We would hear something.
Huh.
Directly after I would say something like that, it would go off. That
Here's
didn't
that.
make no sense to me.
These are from that night. I live here. How do you feel? Martha, come over here. Come closer. Over here.
Lines up with, are you
Manifest.
having fun? How do you feel?
Yeah.
Lines up with, are you having fun?
Manifest, psychic, no energy. Those were all from that night. I had forgotten about the EMF thing actually doing a warning thing, and it was
Yeah.
actually pegging, because I've never seen. I mean, I've taken it downstairs at the Warwick. I've taken it back out there. I've taken it. We've used it there a couple times, and never has it ever gone. One, it's never pegged, but it's never had this thing about a warning. And it was only
Is
that night, and
dangerous?
it was right before that dude showed up.
That's crazy.
There's snow and ice on a trail that we had a problems with our footing, and there's a dude old man on a bicycle
Just
Right.
Riding
never
night.
smooth over it.
at night, riding really slow, with a helmet on, with a light and a front light and a tail light, and he goes past us there and he says, "Are you having fun?"
That's nuts.
I'm at a loss, but I'm just telling you, this shit when it just determines it's gonna fuck with you, it just fucks with you in these really insane manifestations, man. It just makes no sense. I mean, like, I couldn't come up with a weirder thing if I was trying to write fiction. I could not
No
write
kidding.
something more weirder than this. It
Oh, yeah.
just
Yeah,
is.
because it's just so off the top. Like, it's just so.
Yeah.
That's why I'd make
Just-
a fire book.
Oh yeah.
A
Well-
fire book.
Fire.
It's kind of
But we already know what's
the
going on with that.
back in the day at the Wallace house, I was really apprehensive about ever telling anybody about it, because how do you frame that? How do you tell somebody, oh, by the way, blah blah blah, and you spit out a bunch of stuff, and they just look at you like, oh my God, you're crazy, you know?
No kidding.
You can't tell the story about, okay, I had this really wild paranormal experience, and it was this old dude on a bike. You can't tell that story. People would be like, okay, Jaden, that's a really cute story. I'm glad you saw an old man on a bike. That's
Oh yeah.
that's really wild. Oh, it was at night. Oh, he had a flashlight on his bike. Oh wow, that really sounds scary.
You saw a man in a suit? Wow.
Wow, were you at the prom? You know.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So anyway,
I forgot to say that. So like the second time that we went there, the very first thing that I ever got on like the on like the GhostTube like app thing, whatever it's called, was please leave, and I did not tell y'all that. I think I told Dad after, but yeah, the very first thing I ever recorded, like I went back and checked, said please leave. It was pretty weird. I don't know. This is like the very first thing. It's so random.
well, I found it really interesting that I was drawn to go there in the first place.
Yeah.
The first time I'm there, I am bugged out and feel like somebody's, got their eyes on me. Second time we go out, we quite literally we hear a strange thing, like an owl laugh combination thing, and don't you find it interesting that I had no reason to take Will there, other than I just had a weird feeling, and for our first time there, and something happens.
You didn't even really tell me we was going. We just went.
We just went, yeah. And then the first time Jaden goes, there's an old man on a bicycle in the middle of the night, driving real slow on snow and ice, and he comes out of nowhere, and he goes nowhere and disappears.
Are you having fun?
Isn't that just like what happened to me over there? Dude shows up and just disappears out of thin air. I guaranteed you, if we stayed, he would have showed up somewhere else.
Right at that moment, as he was passing us, did you feel like there was any way, shape, or form this was anything abnormal? Because I don't remember at the time thinking to myself, "Oh, damn, who's this spooky dude?" I didn't think that at all. I was like, "There's an old man on a bike." That's what I thought.
I did. I definitely felt like some eerie about this dude on this bike. Like, yeah, dude.
Well,
especially when the fact that he was coming so slow and like
with no face,
with just that light, and no matter how hard I tried to look at his face, like it's like I saw his face, but it's erased from my mind. Cause I was looking directly at it. It's like I have parts and.
Yeah, like when I picture it in my mind, that I like picture the old man like on a bicycle, but like the face is blurry. Like I can't remember. It's so weird.
Well, that's really all we got. Hopefully, after watching this, you're left scratching your head. And trust me, believe me, I know how it all sounds. There's not a moment goes by that I don't think about it myself, Wow, you heard an owl. Ooh, and you saw an old man on a bike. Ooh, it was after dark. Ooh. Trust me, I get it. I get how it sounds, but if you were there, you would understand that it wasn't an owl, and it made absolutely no sense where this guy came from and what he was doing, and where he went to. It made no sense. And at the time, yeah, I mean, I know I wasn't thinking paranormal. I was just thinking like, oh, this is really odd that somebody's out here, you know? And then I realized, you know, after we seeing it was an old man, it wasn't until after he passed us that I was overwhelmed with the urge to go see where this guy goes. And I think at that point I was starting to piece together how odd I thought it was. To be that old on a bicycle at night, wearing a headlamp and then the lamp on the bike, a featureless face, saying, are you having fun? Thanks for watching.
It's a strange world out there. Keep it weird.
Hey, what's going on, para people? It is Will from Magnet Paranormal. If you could just take a moment out of your day to like and subscribe, that'd be greatly appreciated, and it would help out our channel a lot. Thank you for your moment of time. Go back to what you were doing.